Hello and welcome to NoCB, a grand strategy podcast. This is Len. I'm not actually on this episode, but they just went right into it without doing an intro to like what show you're listening to or anything. Well, I wasn't there, so I'm just popping in real quick in the editing bay to say hi. This is NoCB, a grand strategy podcast. All right, on with the show.
All right, everyone should be able to hear us now.
Fingers crossed.
Indeed. Today we don't have Leanna with us. She's feeling a little under the weather. So it is merely the dream team. We've got myself, we've got Enigmatic Rose, and we have Father Loris.
Hello.
And Rose is on push to talk right now because there's a very rude and inconsiderate individual blowing leaves outside her window.
Like, literally right outside the window.
Yeah. It's how wooed.
But it is episode 51, December 9th, 2020 for this episode, which Lambert forgot to say. Shame on him.
Look, yeah, fair enough. I mean, I really got no defense though, have I?
No, you also forgot to change the stream title too, so.
Yeah, that did happen, of course, but it's fine. Because we've got some stuff to talk about. We should go on to that instead of my failures.
Rapidly moving on from
yes.
there.
So, shall we start with a little bit of Imperator, I think?
Oh, Lambert's in charge. We go for Imperator first.
Well,
I'm shocked.
I didn't even think of it that way, but yeah. Have you guys read the Dev Diary?
I have, yes. Yeah.
Sort of, as much as I could around a sick infant. But.
So I've made 2 videos on this Dev Diary already, because there's one part of it that I'm really quite animatedly not liking, and that is the change that they've made to ports, in that they can be now built anywhere instead of specific territories, and I don't like that, like, at all. It was something that Imperator had that was unique to it. Like, not every province can, build ships. It's a unique thing about this game that no other Paradox game has.
And presumably ports weren't built very often, right? Surely they were natural ports most of the time around.
I mean, the one example we know of, or that I know of, during this time period is Brundisium, when Pompey was escaping Italy from Caesar, and he fled to Greece, and he basically built the port of Brundisium. But it was less building a port and more building a quick, we got to get the fuck out of here kind of pontoon bridge kind of thing. I really don't like that you can build them anywhere. I think there's been a few suggestions on what might be a better way, because I'm not alone in not liking this. It's been pretty controversial.
That's the thing, like, that's not what makes a port, is it? It's not just a jetty out into the sea. It's a sheltered area.
Yeah,
sheltered, deep water, safe from the tides.
Some places were big seaports and other places weren't.
And it's why England became a pretty decent naval powers, because we had a lot of sheltered areas that could be used for ports. Not everywhere has that.
And of course, if Liana was here, she would mention, of course, the Vikings and the fjords and stuff.
Yeah.
Because what it's saying.
Does the Med have tides? Yeah.
Yeah, the Med has tides.
Yeah,
it just doesn't have a very strong sea though. So it still goes in and out, but there's no
you say it doesn't have a strong sea. There's some areas that do. I mean, trade between Egypt and Greece had to go in a counterclockwise direction, because if you tried to go the other way around, you weren't going that way. The wind was very strong. So to have trade go, you'd go from Greece up through Syria and Cyprus, then towards Crete, and then you'd jump back down to Libya. You couldn't go the other way.
Isn't that why Agamemnon murdered his daughter, sacrificed her, or whatever? Was he needed the winds?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's from the story of Troy.
I went to a bog standard comprehensive, so I never got taught any of this.
Oh, you never read the Odyssey? Pleb.
I know.
Either.
Scum of you.
No, me neither.
Yeah, so
Just reading myths and histories and things for fun.
So I think a better way to do the ports would be to still, if it's a settlement, it would have a pseudo port that would have benefits to commerce and maybe some food. As you know, you can think of it as like it's just a little jetty where there's some fishing boats, but you wouldn't be able to build any ships in it. And then as you improve the port, which can be only done in a city, then you get, you're able to build bigger ships. It'll give you more benefits. And then, if you wanted to build the biggest ships, it would need to be done in like a metropolis. So it'd be really quite difficult to get up to there early on. And as well, having modifiers on every single one of the current port areas to say that these are natural harbors and have those be modifiers as well. Natural harbors and other, really good port locations should have a modifier for it.
Yeah.
And I think that way you would, as you're improving your ports, you aren't just getting a modifier that gets better. You're also getting new mechanics as they go along, and I think that's pretty cool. I'm just not really sold on the current system.
Yeah, no. I don't know. I'll probably have to find out how it plays out in game. Is there a limit on the number of ports you can build too? Like, is that
Doesn't seem like it.
No, it didn't seem like it.
You can go up to level 5, I think. Although it says mega polyremes require port level of 5. It doesn't say where there's going to be more. So I don't know.
Mega polyremes.
Yeah, they're the biggest ports.
Let's have a look. I've never seen a mega polyreme in my life.
It's chunky. It is real chunky. I'm gonna pull one up because they're impressive.
Oh shit! They're like the fucking Chinese treasure barges.
Yeah, they're really, really big.
I know there was like a I know what's his name? Caligula had like a massive palace boat that was only excavated prior to World War II and then was sadly destroyed in World War II. So I know that, but that was massive.
This is a Tessera Conteres, and then it was this big. It was pretty large. Not sure how useful it was in combat, but it's got a couple of ballista on the front. You got spaces for about 1 billion javelin and men. It's pretty decent.
Oh, yeah.
And you just sort of ram into the other people.
One would assume.
That seems to be the primary form of warfare.
That's a picture of, if you pop that on street, that's Caligula's boats. That was sadly destroyed in World War II, but I guess that's the size of what I was thinking.
That is rather large.
It was a little bit big. I don't know if it ever saw time on the sea, but I don't know. I wouldn't have thought so.
We do have Agmaday pointing out in chat that you can remove ports now and prevent pirates from raiding you, so there's a plus.
Yeah. I generally didn't find pirates to be that impactful. Like, it's something that I literally turn off the notification about because you can't really stop them, although now you can. And the pain from it is not really something I care that much about. A long time ago, I did my suggested pirate rework, and I think I still stand by it because I would have pirates steal pops, and then you'd care. And if they brought these pops as slaves to their pirate base, there would be a reason to have to want pirates because they'll increase the population of that territory that that they have as a home. But at the same time, like, they're not nice people, and they're stealing pops from other people and all that. So, it's a bit of a double-edged sword.
Interesting. Yeah, that would really work, especially because pops are so important.
Yes.
In Imperator.
They're the main part of the game. Pops and characters. Moving on though, technology also got a little tiny rework, changing the amount of time between inventions and also changing the look of the background. So now you've got this kind of invention-y looking parchment paper replete with wine stains.
Now that's what I was supposed to say. Like, I'm not sure about the wine stain. Like, when I look at that, I think coffee mug.
Yes, no, that was my immediate one as well.
Yeah. But I guess it could be wine also, but
yeah, I wouldn't really think wine either, because especially if you're drinking out of a stemmed glass.
Yeah.
Like,
it's not going to be all the way around at exactly the same time.
No, even in stemmed glasses, unless you've like chilled the glass before you pour the wine in, which I guess you might do for some whites, it's not going to leave a ring like that.
Yeah. Yes.
So the Romans didn't have stemmed glasses, true, but
I was about to say, when did stemware? When was that first made? 1400 in Venice, apparently.
For glass, but then they have
no, stemmed glasses. Yeah. I don't know what they goblets maybe.
Goblets.
Well, no, the Romans were big on pewterware, right? But I don't think they had stems either way. It'd be earthen and pewter, right, for the Romans.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume so.
I think
the Romans introduced silver and pottery goblets, characterized by, in the early days of the Roman Empire, ornate scrollwork or pairs of leaves with buds. The 5th century AD saw a shallow cup with a fine stem used by the upper classes, down to sturdy pottery goblets for the lower classes. So they had them. They just were made of glass.
Yeah.
Fair enough then.
Makes sense.
If it was a little bit more red to make it, really clear, oh yeah, this is wine, then I'd be totally in favor of it. But yeah, it does look a little bit coffee-like.
Yeah. Maybe it's just the association with research and caffeinated drinks.
Yeah.
Put a Monster Energy drink logo. And a cool S.
Absolutely.
No, I don't.
And a good point. What kind of scientist would be drinking, like, wine while looking at blueprints?
All of them. I do recall I think it was a Greek city-state that every debate that they had it twice. Once when they were all sober and once when they were drunk.
Yeah.
To see it, because an idea would only be accepted if it made sense both times. I don't know if that's like an urban myth or if that actually was a thing, though.
I've heard that too, but also, I don't know if it's really true or not.
It does sound like an urban myth, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Also, they've added some, nice quality of life functionality. If you want to see what modifiers and such each of the texts are going to give you, and they have these little images next to it to show the main benefits you get from the invention. And you've also got a search bar, which will highlight slightly differently to this, it must be said, when the game is released or when the update is released. But it'll highlight what inventions have, in this case, aggressive expansion differences.
Apparently that was Athens.
Apparently it was Athens. Okay, fair enough then.
Yeah, so I think, apart from like Weinstein, I think the rest of the art looks pretty good actually. Like even the arrows kind of work on this screen, to be honest.
There was a couple more things to talk about with Imperator as well. Actually, first off, we've got the really kind of awesome mission tree for Thrace, which it's weird because I've not been interested in too many of the mission trees, and I can't figure out what it is about this one that makes me give a shit. I can't really explain it. It doesn't seem to be too different on the surface, but this mission tree seems a lot more interesting than the ones that we've had before for Egypt and Seleucus. Like, I like this one. I want to play Thrace now. And the others didn't really give me that feeling.
Yeah. I imagine Thrace is rare. No, wait, because Byzantium is probably more popular than Thrace, right?
Well, there's maybe it used to be, because Byzantium, they used to have just standard Greek ideas, which weren't terrible. But then in one of the latest updates, one of their like national idea tradition-y things was to give them negative 10% morale, and now they suck. So not great.
It's Paradox's
supposed to make-
eternal attempts to try and stop people from playing Byzantium.
Yeah,
Aren't they supposed to
it's
make
the
them
latest
better?
Byzantium nerf that happens all the time. But yeah,
I
the
mean, they
mission
do
trees
people
are
love it
actually
so much.
kind of interesting. One of them is to deal with all these tribes in the north, because Adrisier starts as your vassal and he's a bit of a dick. One of the other missions is to rein in these Greek city-states on the coast, because they all start as your vassals, and they're also kind of dicks. And then
Is there anyone
your
who's
third
not?
mission... Sorry, what?
Is there anyone who's not around you?
No. But the third mission is to deal with the Antigonids, who's over here, and he's also a kind of a dick. So basically, you've got there's just all around you, just dicks, you know?
This is the standard Greek experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
I imagine.
Yeah. But there was some interesting things as well with it. Setting up your own Hellenic league, and setting up Thrace as the head of that league. I really want to see that expanded to all of the Greek states. Everyone should want to be the leader of the Greek league, and I really hope we get a HRE system for the Greek city states in that vein. That would be pretty cool.
I do like what Kazi guy is pointing out in chat. If everyone else is kind of a dick, maybe you're the problem.
True, but Lysimachus was cool. Lysimachus was a really damn good general. There was one case where, and they say it, I think they say it in this dev diary, that he was attacked by Adrisia and the Antigonids at the same time. And he was so quick at defeating Adrisia that by the time he defeated him and came back down south to defend against the Antigonids was like, yeah, nah, fuck that. And then just left. And then, war over. Because Lysimachus was cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Thrace is one of the lesser you played, I feel, Diadochi, so it's nice to see him get a really cool mission tree. One final thing before we move away from Imperator, though, and that is this set of tweets from Arheo, which I do think are definitely worth looking at. So firstly, this is his game as Etruria, and I don't know if it's his game or an observed game. But the interesting thing is here, he says that the Etrurians have reinstalled a king on the throne of their subject Rome, which is very interesting. That's not something you could ever do, changing the government type of your subjects. And I know we did have that tease about the subject rework from before that just they didn't have time to implement, but this, at least some of it, has made its way into 2.0. But if he is playing Etruria, that means the AI must be playing as Macedon. And Macedon have done away with the Antigonids
very well.
quite heavily.
Macedon is pretty damn powerful.
Yeah, that's impressive. If that's AI.
They've done some things, and it's not even border gorish. What is this nonsense?
I mean, Caria is his vassal, so it kind of understand maybe that there's bits and pieces all over the place here. But yeah, if that's an AI Macedon, that's incredible. And if it's a player Macedon, what the fuck is this? I expect to see resignation on my desk in the morning for making this a Border tendril. But yeah, no, if that's AI, that is mighty impressive. They've changed the AI. Let's put it that way. And then finally, we've got the Antigonids here, who are only in Cyprus, and they're in defensive league with Phrygia. So Phrygia exists, but it's not the Antigonids anymore. So it's pretty cool. I like it.
Oh, okay, I can see that you did have lots to talk about with this Dead Diary.
Yeah, there's lots of changes in this one. It's been pretty good for Imperator today, or this week, I guess.
And I guess the spaghetti arrows aren't looking so spaghetti-ish anymore. At least the pictures they've showed so far for now.
Yeah, they seem to be much better. I'm happier with them.
Yeah, so
they have a consistency to them.
Yeah, I still think there could be something done with them, but I have no idea what because I'm not an art person.
Father Loris?
This is where you chime in. What would you do?
I don't know. It's quite a hard one, really. I think just a little bit of flair around the tops of the arrows would just do it, to be honest. 2 little flanges. That's all that needs to be done. That's about it, really. A little bit more detail around the arrowhead. Yeah, maybe make them less curvy, a bit more angular. Because I guess curves like that weren't very prominent in Roman art, so a bit more angular, a bit more detailed, flangey.
So in this time period, they used papyrus. And what did they write on the papyrus with? Because I'm thinking maybe, I assume it's ink. They're not exactly using wax tablets at this period, I don't think. But what about if it was just like a line drawn between them and it looks like hand-drawn?
Well, I think they did actually use wax tablets.
They used... everyday writing was done on wax tablets or thin leaves of wood. Documents, like legal contracts, were done with pen and ink on papyrus.
Because all the stuff you find at Hadrian's Wall is all wax tablets. I don't know if you ever read those. They're great, by the way. They're like little snippets of life in Roman times. They're pretty cool.
I'd say having them drawn on with like a quill, I guess. I think that would work. Instead of having it this red, very modern-looking arrow.
Yeah, so I'm thinking. I would just like put a bit more flair into it. Not much needs to be done, to be honest.
No, for the most part, it's good.
It just feels like it's like a little bit left behind where the rest of the UI is improved so much.
Yeah.
Because I guess like I'm looking at actual Roman writing now, and it doesn't look very Roman. Is the thing. So,
no,
I think.
But then it can't be specifically Roman. Like it has to be available to everyone.
Well, that's the thing. Also, like you can't have it so that it's if you want to go for whatever that's like in the cultural consciousness about people's ideas of the time, rather than theoretically what it is. And for example, like the statues that Romans built,
the
used
statues.
to be really well.
But they look better in white.
Yeah, they're all in white, right? Like that's how we imagine it. But in actuality, people have discovered that there's loads of pigments fragments all over them. So they're actually painted like really gaudy colors, right? But in our mind, we think Rome, white statue, white marble, and not Greek. Rome, gaudy colors. And Greek, yeah.
Yeah, so I reject your reality and I substitute my own.
Exactly, yeah. But that's how you have to keep that in mind, I guess, with that. Like you have to go with people's ideas of why it is. Which is like why which annoys like some people, I guess, but especially Turks.
But the people who are annoyed by that are the same kind of people who get annoyed by people calling him Caesar instead of Kaiser. And those kind of people are really shit at parties, and I don't want them in my life.
Never inviting a single member of Caesar's Legion to my party ever again.
It's like in the public consciousness now, the word Kaiser is very German, not Roman.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Shadow
Rosebud
Lucifer in
agrees.
chat is saying, why don't they use Times New Roman? I just thought I'd point it out because the font that they actually are using is Trajan Pro, which Trajan, Roman Emperor.
Yeah.
So it's still fine.
Why aren't they using papyrus? Because they're writing on papyrus.
Oh, God, because that font looks like arse.
Have you used it for Avatar? No one noticed that.
Oh, well, I mean, there was other issues that people were noticing there, though.
Quite possibly.
No,
the only
I like
good
the
sketch
font.
ever made by SNL, it's like American thing, was Ryan Gosling being like a graphic designer and having a mental breakdown about how Avatar, a multi-billion-pound movie, managed to get away with just using fucking papyrus for their logo. It's very good.
Oh, that's
Look
great.
that up after this podcast.
Anyway, I think that the fact that we've got a divergence is sign enough that we should move on to the CK3 dev diary that we have today.
Yeah.
Although there isn't much of this one because it's just some patch notes, and this one I think is about 0.03 Groogies tall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's not a lot.
I have to say the one that I'm quite happy is fixed is remove the depreciated nudity game rule. Nudity is now toggled on or off in the settings menu because it wasn't working before.
Oh man, I have a game running as the King of France, and I kept the nudity on for that one because I wanted to get the achievement Emperor's New Clothes, which you cannot get unless you have nudity available.
Yeah, I grabbed that one.
You
off
can't just
stream.
be like, oh, my Adamite character who would be nude if this game rule was here has clothes on because, of course, I've got the game rule. You won't get the achievement for that. You actually have to see the boobies.
Oh my goodness.
Which is interesting to gate some achievement behind adult content, I guess.
Yeah, there's a reason I grabbed that one off stream, just playing by myself real quick.
I ended up getting it off stream as well by creating a character in the character designer who was Adamite.
Hey, that works. I did it before
He
the
also
character
had
designer.
3 virtues.
But
So, yeah, I got that one.
I just blame all these streaming services for being so puritanical. Like, it's only like nipples. It's not like full frontal nudity even. Like, oh, whatever. Fucking YouTube and Twitch.
I'm doing a Succession series with Kara over on YouTube. Another YouTuber. Awesome videos, by the way, if you've never seen her.
Yeah.
But
yeah, very good editing.
We did a character design. Queen Victoria threw her back into the past in 867. It's been a lot of fun. But I was playing with the first character, and suddenly I just had a character pop up completely naked, and I knew I had the game roll off.
Is it just because it just turns off mid-game randomly?
No, it wasn't actually working. That's apparently what this bug is showing that they fixed is you could turn it off or on, but it didn't matter because it was hard-coded in, essentially.
Right.
And that's like a nightmare for content creators, right? Which I hate the term content. Until you make content.
It's either that or it's fucking influencer. And I'm sorry, I'm taking content creator over influencer any day.
Yes. And I mean...
influencer sounds shady as hell.
And there's YouTuber, but for those of us that also do a lot of Twitch, that doesn't fit.
Yeah.
And there's live streamer, but then that cuts out the YouTube stuff.
Yeah. You make content. That's
well, I mean,
all your hard work has got into content.
Father Lorish, you're a content creator.
Yeah.
I know, but
art.
I don't like calling my stuff content. I like to call them cartoons, you know?
Right, but so you have your field be called cartoon creators then, but then that cuts out the people who make comics that aren't cartoons.
Yeah, cartoonist.
It will cut out somebody. No one's happy, right? There's no situation where everyone's happy, so everyone has to be unhappy.
Everyone
right?
has to.
That's
Everyone
how
who
it
makes
works.
anyone who makes anything creative, content. That's what it is.
Call it creative then. I don't know.
Content.
What would you call myself and
It's just-
Rose then?
I don't know. YouTubers,
Exactly.
I guess.
Except for
Or on
YouTube.
Twitch?
I mean, I guess now
Yeah.
I'm more on YouTube, but I was always more on Twitch until I had the baby.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, we got a good.
YouTubers.
We got a good.
Even if no
suggestion
one's
in
ever
chat.
touched YouTubers.
We got a great suggestion in chat. We're not content creators. We're gamer gods.
Gamer gods. That's somehow even worse.
Yeah, Twitcherers.
Twitcherers.
I'm fine with content
It's like a
creator.
disease.
It fits
Pro
and it's
gamer.
not influencer because that
Mhm.
sounds weird.
Yeah, influencer sounds dodgy. Feels
Yeah.
like you're roaming around
Influencers like
in a white van
Instagram
showing
and
people your
TikTok
YouTube
people.
videos.
Exactly. Not into that.
No.
Have you guys seen the portraits glitching with this update? By the way,
no, but I haven't had time to
I
play.
think so.
With Sega.
I was shown it by Agama Day, and I think I will find it. Apparently, I'm just going to download it. There you go. But yeah, I was sent this by Agama Day. If I find out how to open it,
Lambert's
this is now
professional,
what
y'all.
they do. Occasionally,
Okay.
yeah. No, it's not great, is it?
No. Forget Cyberpunk giving people epilepsy issues. This would.
It just
Yeah.
reminded me of this saved favorite GIF.
Just keep it in, but give people the traits twitchy. Yeah, then that's fine. Yeah.
It's pretty much that one. Oh, apparently there's another one here as well. Oh, how do I have to sign into Discord? Never mind. It'll be all right.
It didn't
Yeah,
even
have
open
like
when
a
I'm signed in
Princess-
Discord.
Princess Lee's got a great suggestion. Let's make it a new angry idol. Like, but no, have it as like a stress break, like repressed
Yeah,
anger, and you just like
literally that.
smiling and like shaking like that.
Yeah, internal screaming is the new mental break that we're gonna have. That's a modern
Yeah, that
mental
link
break.
is
It's like
not.
outside everything looks fine, but inside I'm just shaking, seething with rage. But yeah, is there anything other than the fix
the
to
Twitch-
nudity
the
that
Discord
is
just
like
done?
standing out here?
You can shift. Hold down control so your armies don't split. Because
That works. Yeah.
the current default is when you raise up your armies, if they go over the supply, they'll split into different piles, which is actually can be great if you have 20k troops and you don't want them all spawning on the same province. But if you have 6k and the limit of the province is 5k supply.
Yeah. There's been a time when I've had my entire army, but then 3 champions have been in another province. I'm like, dude, come on. I will say
Yeah.
this change to have them split up seemed to be a soft fix for the teleporting men-at-arms. It seemed like a
Speaking of-
decent idea to not have it be, oh, I've teleported my dudes over here and now they're going to sit on you and stack wipe you. But now if you can just go back to the way it was, then it's a bit
Speaking of teleporting, Vikings have just teleported into our chat.
Oh, God. Thank you very much, Mordred Viking, for the raid. How was your... I hope you had a good stream, man.
Although, Loris, did you fall down your non-existent stairs?
No, I had a spanner on my desk and I just knocked it on my floor by accident. Literally just dropped a spanner.
For
So-
those who don't know in chat, Father Loris dismantled his staircase to rebuild it and has been going without one for like 6 months.
yeah, I still
Yeah.
haven't got around to rebuilding that, so I'm just climbing up and down still. I'm
You know
instead
what?
rebuilding my office and renovating. I'm making it look like a Victorian office, but I have no stairs, but I'm going to have a really nice office.
See, as Father Loris has to pull himself up to get to his top floor, and he needs to do that multiple times a day, because, it's going up and stairs and downstairs. He's getting super buff, so soon he won't be Father Loris, he'll be Daddy Loris.
Oh my goodness. I just never do any pull-ups, so I'm just going to have have the most like fucking biggest beer gut that I still have.
See, that just makes you buffer. You have to lift the beer gut. It's extra weight.
Oh my god! I gotta look like what's that guy from fucking Punch Out? Like the Canadian logging guy.
I don't know. I have no idea what you're on about.
That guy. You never read Punch Out? It's great.
No.
Although it hasn't aged very well, I don't think.
There aren't many things that have, let's be fair.
Yeah, thinking about it, there's a lot of racial stereotypes in that game, and maybe actually, in hindsight,
Yeah.
maybe it's not great.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of media in general that has aged well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Society has changed quite a bit in the past 15 years. Like, a lot.
Well, you know what? There's a newer YouTuber I found called Cinema Therapy. It's a licensed therapist and then a film director. The two of them are like dismantle and look at things in film. One of them they did that I watched was about Aragorn and how he is the epitome of true masculinity and shows that how limiting toxic masculinity is.
Mm-hmm.
I
Considering
saw the thumbnail for that.
You've seen the thumbnail for that?
Yeah, no, I saw that it was recommended to me, but I didn't watch it. I was busy.
It's really good.
I'll have
As
to go
they
back and
point
see it.
out, he goes from, chopping the head and the arm off of an orc one moment to the next, like cradling Boromir as he dies and comforting him.
Yeah. Oh, man, that scene, so good.
Yeah.
Good.
And basically showing that you don't have to, you don't have to hide part of yourself to fulfill the ideals. Because I think we all admit that he's a pretty epic character.
One of the best.
Yeah.
It's just comforting a brother in arm who's just, fallen in battle. Comforting them in their final moments. I don't think I've ever heard of that being described as feminine.
Well, the fact
that would be what would be, if you don't want to do this personal thing, it's toxic masculinity or whatever. I just don't think that particular example would be what I would use to show it.
Yeah.
He more describes it as limiting masculinity, not toxic, which I think fits better because that is more of an idea of, masculinity can only go this far. If you go beyond this, you're not masculine, even if you already fill all these other check boxes.
Just off the top of my
it's
head,
all stupid in my opinion.
I think a better example might be when Aragorn thinks that the hobbits have died. When they find the pyre and he kicks the helmet. I think that might be a better example because he's showing quite a lot of emotion at seemingly, losing the hobbits. And he thinks they're dead, and he's showing that emotion. That would be maybe a better example. I don't know. I will go and watch the video.
I don't get any of it though. I don't get when people are like that, and it's like they don't want to do sewing or something because it's like
he broke his toe in that scene. Yeah, he did.
Yep, he broke his toe, and that was the cut that they kept in.
Yeah. So it was more genuine.
I'm not kicking that helmet again. It hurts.
I need to rewatch all the behind the scenes stuff now for Lord of the Rings. They were great.
God damn it! You're gonna make me watch a freaking marathon again.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's Christmas.
I watched those in the week waiting for this little guy to be born.
See, I've always, for some reason, I always had this tradition where I'd watch all of the Lord of the Rings every year around Christmas, and I thought that was my little tradition. But I found out I think independently everyone's developed that tradition for some reason. Yeah. There's a lot of people that watch it every year around Christmas. And it's never been a zeitgeist thing, right? I mean, that's never been established, but there's a lot of people that do it for some reason.
I think it's one of the a milestone or a pillar of cinema.
Yeah.
I think...
well, and they all released around Christmas, so watching them again around Christmas just feels kind of fitting.
Yeah, it's true.
We're well deviated from what we were supposed to be talking about, so I'm just gonna go ahead and roll
Lord of the
with
Rings.
it. Yeah, I'm gonna.
And there's
go
a
ahead
Lord of
and
the
roll
Rings
with it.
mod for CK3 coming, right? Or has it come?
Yes, actually. Yeah, there was a showcase recently. I I saw it on YouTube.
I am gonna.
Was it
see if I can find it.
Bavarian? I would like to say. Did a showcase of all these different fantasy mods, and there's some really good ones coming up. The maps look absolutely gorgeous. Still no Geheimes Nacht yet.
Yeah, not quite yet.
Which I'm still holding out for.
Well, I searched for this. I would put Lord of the Rings trilogy as the best cinema trilogy of all time. Would you be in agreement with that?
Yes.
I can't think of a trilogy in cinema that is that good on that level.
Yeah, it's trying to think. How about the new Star Wars?
Well, yeah, the original trilogy of Star Wars is pretty good.
Yeah, the original. Well, I think it's kind of him, it's personally. But yeah, no, I think it is probably this. What about the Troll trilogy? I think that's probably better.
How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh,
that's a really good trilogy.
Did you click the poison link?
I did, and it brought me to my DMs.
Yes.
Yeah. Now we'll leave that alone.
Agamede has rickrolled us with that link somehow.
Causes you to leave the server. Yeah, I would say, yeah, probably. I can't think of anything better. I'm really trying to wrap
the Toy Story.
No, I don't rate Toy Story 3 as highly as the others, whereas I put all of the Lord of the Rings movies like a solid 98 out of 100.
Yeah, there's no weak link in the Lord of the Rings.
Whereas
I would say Star Wars, the original trilogy, there's a few weak links in that.
Yeah, Ewoks can go to fuck.
Yeah.
Iron Man, that's a really bad suggestion because there's a lot of bad stuff in the second and the third film.
It's a Matrix. I really don't like the Matrix.
No, Toy Story 3 is great. I will absolutely, back you up on that. But it's not as strong as the first two. Plus, it's about to be a quadrilogy, or maybe it is. Toy Story.
Maybe it already is.
Yeah.
Okay. So you get cancelled, mate. Get cancelled. That's no. Toy Story is a quadrilogy. You've missed the boat, or you've overshot the boat. You don't get in.
Didn't he arrive on a Viking boat? Did the Viking boat sail away?
Toy Story can be the best quadrilogy of all time. I don't care. It's not allowed in the trilogy box anymore. Get out of here.
What about the Hobbit trilogy?
The Hobbit can eat. Just eat it. I don't. No.
It's awful.
The Star Wars original trilogy has, the Ewoks in the third film.
Yeah, the middle film. I forgot what their names.
Empire is the best.
Empire, yeah.
From all of the films.
I actually prefer A New Hope, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I really quite like it.
In that case, can we really count Star Wars as a trilogy? Yes, because the tone of all of them, from trilogy to trilogy, is so ridiculously different.
Yeah. There's some people now that exist, Zoomers, say that with such bile, justified, who actually genuinely like the prequel sequels now.
Wait.
Wild.
You just said the prequel sequels. Which one is it?
Oh, whatever is the bad ones, the really bad ones.
Because I unironically really quite like Attack of the Clones and
Foul
and Revenge of the Sith. I kind of do think they're pretty good.
Well,
terrible.
The thing
Phantom Menace
is there's people that have now grown up with them.
Yeah, no, that was me. My first ever exposure to Star Wars was the pod racing scene in Phantom Menace.
Oh.
I did too, but I've also got taste, so I don't like it.
My first introduction, I think I was 11 or 12, and my dad realized that I'd never seen Star Wars, and he had the original series on VHS before Lucas went and added CGI weird stuff to it.
Yeah, I watched them before that as well. Although I don't think half of it is as bad as people make out.
Yeah, I'd say that.
I will say, I think in with a pretty decent shot of being up near the top of best trilogies is How to Train Your Dragon. Unironically, there is not a bad film in that trilogy.
Yeah,
those are very good.
Actually.
Because as well, it has the whole, the first one is about growing up and the second one is about being who you are and finding out who you are, and then the third one is like letting go. It's like it's got an arc that fits beautifully. Like that is a damn good trilogy of films.
Yeah.
Speaking of the weird Star Wars, have any of y'all heard of Splinter of the Mind's Eye?
No, that rings no bells.
So it was written by Alan Dean Foster, who's a big sci-fi man. And it was published in 1978 before the second Star Wars film, when George Lucas wasn't sure he'd have much of a budget for the sequel. So it all takes place on like one planet. Luke and Leia become lovers.
As you do.
They're looking for some weird crystal for a lightsaber.
Kyber crystal. Oh god, we're going to talk about the Mandalorian now.
Oh, the Mandalorian is very good, but let's not talk about it because
Mandalorian.
there's spoilers.
Yeah, there is spoilers there for that. Star Wars we can talk about because, let's be honest, no one gives a shit about the sequels. The prequels are 10 years old. The original trilogy is very old at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this is even a book that got thrown out of canon by the time the second movie came out.
Yeah. On the topic of Star Wars, and to bring it back to like historical stuff, the most Star Wars happened longer ago than the most recent guillotining in France. That's like an interesting little factoid. They chopped someone's head off after the Star Wars film came out.
I can't believe they like beheaded Darth Vader like that.
I mean, they took his helmet off. They did about the same thing.
Oh yeah, it's completely the same.
Yeah, and then put the Emperor down the shaft, and then he's back again.
But Star Wars is a sci-fi, sci-fantasy. You know what else is? Bloody Stellaris, isn't it, mate? Stellaris is a bloody sci-fantasy thing, and we're getting, honestly, some really cool shit.
We have the worm. We have Jeff.
No, we don't have Jeff.
Yes, we do. We have Jeff.
No, we don't.
There
isn't. Jeff.
No, Jeff's in the fucking wall. I don't want to see him. I haven't got enough intel to know about Jeff. He's not a thing yet.
Jeff.
So yeah, we got some
Jeff knows you.
Oh my god, Jeff's taken over the fucking podcast.
I can't believe it.
Jeff is absolutely the Ewoks of Stellaris. Some people, for some reason, like them, but most people think they're fucking stupid. Oh god, yeah. No, that's actually the perfect analogy. Jeff is the Ewok of Stellaris.
Well, except don't like the devs like Jeff.
I'm sure George Lucas liked the fucking Ewoks. Oh god.
And just like the Ewoks, it feels like a marketing ploy.
Yes. Sell the cuddlies, please. Blowing is always better for that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if they sell you a Jeff pillow, sure.
No, that's not something. No, I don't want a Jeff pillow. That's weird.
What I don't like about Jeff.
Is Jeff a bloody influencer, is he? No, creepy. No, I'm not having it.
Jeff doesn't feel organic. That's what I don't like about Jeff.
He definitely was not organic. No.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Because the community didn't make him. Devs did.
Yeah, exactly. But
the community embraced him.
No.
I mean, you get a Jeff body pillow, and then you can hang out with the Blorg body pillow.
The devs did make the Blorg, but it's different.
That was
I don't know why it's different, but whatever.
Well, the Blorg was just, I think they're the race that they made to spy on the universe during that pre-release Stellaris event.
And it was the people in the Twitch chat that brought that torch forward. It wasn't the devs.
Yeah.
Jeff was a meme before the public knew of Jeff. That makes it different.
Yeah.
But don't a lot of people that work at Paradox now were part of the community back before?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's irrelevant. Pure irrelevance. I just don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway, let's move away from the artistic merits of Jeff.
Let's talk about the actual Jeff Diary. I just said Jeff Diary.
Jeff Diary? Oh my god.
It's taking me. Please, help. It's taking me.
Someone clip that. Yes.
No.
That needs to live on in infamy.
God damn it, he's going to make the fucking episode title that, isn't he? Don't! Liana, please don't. Don't make that the title. I'm begging you.
Okay, Lambert, let's read this Jeff Diary.
Fuck.
Oh my god.
So his background fog war and stuff, and Jeff's nowhere to be seen. Anyway, well, have you read the Dev Diary?
Yes, yeah.
It's pretty damn cool.
I really, really like it. It's going to really like spice up multiplayer, I feel.
Yeah, for sure.
And single player, to be honest. Like, not that I ever played that. Certainly not a single player type of person.
I mean, we talked about Fog of War before already, but now we know a bit more about what intel is and how you gain it. And I gotta say, it works for me. I think this is something that I've wanted for Stellaris for a long time, and something that I'm just going to talk for the community. I think the community has wanted it for a long time as well. You know, not knowing everything about your rivals in the galaxy is going to add a lot of gameplay. I think emergent gameplay.
And certainly, it's going to make the galaxy a lot more interesting, especially like towards, well, as soon as the first set of discoveries is done and you've traded all your maps, you zoom out of the galaxy and you see borders everywhere.
I mean, as soon as you join the galactic community, boom, the map is now full. It's like,
Exactly. I mean, it doesn't seem like there's a great unknown, like, which takes
like
away a lot of the
be.
charm, I think, of a space game, because, you know, if you think of the sci-fi standard, which I guess is Star Trek, I guess, or like, well, any sort of space-based sci-fi, there's always like some great unknown out there in the cosmos. Which, you know, doesn't exist prior to this. But now there's like something you don't know about. There could be a big looming horrible threat that you just don't know about, like the equivalent of a Borg, I guess, or the, what are they called, the Reavers?
Yeah, the Reavers are in Serenity.
Yeah.
Firefly.
Yeah. Serenity's the movie.
Yes. Damn. Right, it's a little bit more of a detour. I love that. I love Serenity and I love Firefly. It's great. All right, moving on.
Yeah. It's not bad. It's not bad at all.
I think I really want to see this really play into the hands of the criminal syndicate, or the, what is it, the megacorp that's the criminal one. Forgot the name of it. Because they're weak. They are absolutely trash right now. Because if you set up your hostile tradey doodad on someone else's planet, if they want to go to war with you to get you off there, you will lose. 100% of the time you will lose, because you have to go and force them to surrender or you're being expelled. A white piece will see you expelled. So, you know, they're weak. They're really ridiculously weak. So having them be the intel faction and having intel be really important is going to be huge. Yeah. I want to see, you know, these criminal organizations on your planets. I kind of want them to be, you know, you don't know about them unless you've got intel.
That's right. And then like, I reckon that would require a crime rework, because you know about this high crime, I guess, on your planet. Yeah. But I think
the
that's
crime right now is kind of
It's so easy to counter. You don't even have to get rid of it. You just build a police station or whatever, and you're done. Crime syndicate dead.
There's things with like some intel that you have, like you see an enemy or a potential enemy, and you get some intel on them. It's like, oh, their navy is weaker than mine. But you're just going to build up a little bit more to make sure that it's an easy war for you. You go to war and suddenly he's got lots more ships than you, because, you know, maybe your intel was wrong, or, I mean, it was stale and they built up their fleets after you got intel. So it's not like I've gotten intel on this other empire and now I know forever what they have, or it will be updated, as and when, with all of the, everything that changes. No, it's like you get intel, that is what you've got. And if things change, you need to get more intel on those changes. And I really like that.
And I think this will be good for multiplayer, because too often in multiplayer, you're like, well, I can't go to war with this person because they've got a larger fleet than me, and I know this. And it just creates a lot of static or stagnant sort of gameplay, especially with MP. I've noticed it in the last few Paradox events.
One thing they really need to address, absolutely need to address, is that sure, you have this here that'll say that the enemy fleet power is, slightly weaker, or they're pathetic, or they're overwhelming, whatever. This is never useful when you can just hover over their diplomatic weight and find out how much diplomatic weight comes from their ships specifically, not even adding in modifiers for what stance they are, their diplomatic stance or anything. You can just see how strong their fleet is via their diplomatic weight, and that is the best way of finding out if you are stronger than them or not. This is garbage in comparison.
Yeah.
So they need to hide this. This can't be the case. They can't keep this and think that intel is going to work.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
Sure, this can be unknown. Why do I know how many pops they have? Why do I know how many planets they have?
Yeah.
I think this should be unknown as well.
Yeah, no, I agree there.
And maybe you only know their diplomatic weight when it comes time to vote.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know the breakdown of what gives them that weight.
Yeah.
Sorry. Rosebud has thoughts on this too. He agrees with us.
That would make the diplomatic game a lot more interesting.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that would be quite nice to have that be changed. But otherwise,
well, that's
a
good point, because you'd have to say if you were pushing through votes, increase the weight of diplomatic power from the economy, and people were pushing that through, and you don't really know where most of their bulk of their power is coming from.
Yeah.
That would make things a lot more interesting, because you don't really know the motives of why people are pushing through certain votes. Could be interesting. Although I think it would be bleeding obvious when it's like a megacorp doing that. It's like, oh, how's this megacorp getting so many diplomatic points?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you're going to be able to tell.
Yeah.
Just by their government type.
Why would you be able to tell? It should be some empires should be really hard to read. You're going to need to be really focusing on the intel game to know anything about them. And I think the Ascendancy perk, Enigmatic Engineering, is going to get a lot more powerful. I feel like they're going to link that to intel.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm probably going to take that in multiplayer.
Yes, for sure. It was already a decent pick, not letting your enemies get to research your wreckage is kind of huge in multiplayer. And also the extra vision. It's 2 extra jumps of vision was pretty decent as well. But yeah, I think it's going to get a bit of a boost.
Yeah, I do quite like the idea of just being a great unknown, I guess.
It ain't too bad, for sure.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see the first big MP events in Stellaris after this update goes out.
Yeah.
Whether it be a dev clash, if COVID's over by then.
Yeah.
Even if it's not a dev clash, I would think Paradox would do another one of those weekend events like they have the last, they've done 2, 3 in the last year?
Yeah, they've been fun.
Mm-hmm. Lots of heavy role play.
Yeah.
This just goes into it.
Aye, for sure. It's pretty nice. Definitely... It's definitely something that Stellaris has needed for a while, and I'm really glad to see that they're going that route now.
Yeah, I think it's up there with trade as probably one of the most requested features, right? Like a trade framework.
I think this was needed before trade, though.
Yeah. definitely.
What's the other thing that's often suggested? There's one that's like not possible. I remember having this discussion at ParadoxCon. It was like, I believe like having mobile planets, like a planet-based ship, a ship-based planet, even not possible in the engine or something.
Oh yeah,
I
something
remember
like
seeing
the habitats moving. It was not
Yeah,
possible.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
having
think
like a
it
nomadic
said that when
civilization.
we had them here on the podcast.
Aye, perhaps.
But we do have Agmade pointing out chat. It would be funny if like servitors or cyborgs could pretend to be organics. You don't have enough intel on them.
Or hive minds pretending to be normal. No, we're
Yeah.
totally different people, aren't we? Yes, we are.
I like the idea of that. That sounds, yeah. Take that trait, what's it called for one that's like makes you a bit more empathetic as a machine.
Cylon.
Do we have
Cylon
anything else to
infiltrators,
say?
Yeah. On Stellaris, no. Keep doing as you are doing. It's pretty good looking so far.
Yeah.
So you had lots of complaints about the Imperator Dev Diary, or the port system.
Yeah.
Lambert, are you having anything about the Solaris Pass ones that are raising the same flags concern?
Other than, look, make sure that you make this part of the intel system as well. The diplomatic way. It's less red flags and stuff that I dislike what they're doing, and more like, oh, don't forget about this. But yeah, there's no real red flags.
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
I wouldn't even say the port thing is a red flag either. It's just a direction I disagree with.
We don't have a lot of dev diaries. With
No.
the
No.
holidays and
But yeah,
Nothing for
it's a
EU4.
EU4 one. Because
No.
it's a national holiday over in Spain, apparently.
Yeah.
I will mention, guys, that our podcast is now a year old
Yeah.
this week.
Yeah. One whole year.
Yeah.
Was it the 13th last year that the Twitter account was made?
Maybe?
And I think
Possibly.
the idea of a podcast is like,
Probably
Is
a
it
year
2 or
more
3
older than
years?
that.
yeah, I think me and Liana were having like drinks, I think, not last year. Maybe it was over 2 Paradox Cons away, or maybe it was. Well, there was none this year.
I mean, I wasn't part of that conversation, so I couldn't help you there.
Yeah, I think it was a very drunken conversation. But yeah, I think we were talking about it then. So
Well, so
You
it was
guys
like
met
the
4 years
Athens
ago?
thing. It was a good conversation when you were drunk, and then when you were sober, it was still a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Athenian method, and it served you well. Yeah, I don't think there's anything to complain about there.
No,
Oh,
but we'll
it's
talk
good.
more
It's the
about that
best
next
ideas.
week when Leanna's back.
For sure.
Exactly.
And hopefully no leaf blowers.
Yes. You know, you would think it being December here in New York, there wouldn't be a lot of yard work left to do, and we even had like snow flurries today. But apparently
Yeah, what
it's
are they
time to
blowing?
mow the grass and go out with leaf blowers. Next week would be the last possible time that could happen because I'm moving in 8 days.
Yay.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
It's going to be no more leaf blowers.
It's gonna be very hectic. Gonna be working from a temporary office with boxes.
Yes, that's it. It's going to be interesting. Because we have enough furniture for a small apartment and we're moving into a full-sized house.
Yeah, I know that. I know that feeling. Although we had enough boxes just randomly to fill the extra house space when we moved. There are still
don't
boxes
really-
that are unopened. We've been here 2 years.
The trick is to completely renovate the house, so the majority of the rooms are completely unusable, and therefore you're stuck in maybe like one room
Well, and then
surrounded by boxes and
staircase.
boxes and no staircase here.
Oh god, what are we gonna do
That's
with
the
you?
trick. I've got hardly any worldly possessions, but my house is so cluttered because it's all just stuck in one room, pretty much. Great.
And then everything else is construction material.
Pretty much just all cement bags and 2x4 planks and paints and everything.
Few few sheep here and there as
A
well.
few sheep, yeah, for the carpenter.
Maybe a horse.
Last night's
A
entertainment.
horse. That's it. Yeah.
I think we're rambling. We should probably
Yes.
put an end to this now. So, other
Probably.
than not fixing your stairs, Loris, what have you been up to?
I have been, like I said, renovating my office a little bit. I caught up with a little bit of work, but most of my time has just been playing World of Warcraft, if I'm honest. It's not great.
And do you have any plans for the next week? Because I don't know, there might be something coming out that's maybe a bit important that's coming out relatively soon.
What? Cyberpunk?
Yeah, that's the one I was. Yeah, that small little ditty.
Yeah, I was planning on just having an epileptic seizure. That was the plan.
That's fair.
Yeah, just sit about.
Yeah,
just treat myself to a seizure. No, I got an agreement with a friend where I'm not going to actually buy the game. I'm just going to watch her play it. So
fair enough.
It saves me 40 quid. I get the same experience. Or 60 quid or something.
Yeah, I think it's the full hog, full price.
Yeah, crazy.
And how about you, Rose? What have you been up to for the past week?
Getting packing and having a sick infant. He's actually doing pretty well right now. I've only got some YouTube. Doing a Search for Victoria 3 Succession series with Kara over on YouTube. My first video is up, her first video is up, and it's a very interesting ride.
Good time.
I'm not sure how you're going to feel about what we've done with your beloved England there, Lambert, though.
I'm just,
Is it Saxon or English?
No, she's English, because, of course, Victoria, when she went to go get crowned, she woke up and she wasn't in merry old England, as she was raised, and said she's in 867 and the Queen of Wessex.
Yeah.
And her only vassal was Count Alfred. So,
who did she eventually marry in your game, just out of curiosity?
some nobody Carling, I think.
Oh, okay. I was worried that you were going to marry her too. Wait, a Carling? Probably disabled.
Yeah, it was some Carling cousin or something. Because the world is matrilineal. Women rule everything.
Fair enough.
Carlingling.
Stop.
But don't worry, her daughter married King Alfred. And so actually the line starting from the third queen, which my video for that comes out next Monday, we're all descended from Alfred as well.
Lovely. So your family tree looks like... how would you even... I don't even know how you would get around that, because, you know, King Alfred is a direct ancestor of Queen Victoria.
But by like the 1,000 years difference.
Doesn't matter. You're just looping around.
No, sorry, she married a lowborn. Is who she married, and I actually got a what?
You went for the traits.
Yeah, I think I married him for traits. And then someone tried to tell us that Queen Victoria and he were related.
You know what? Probably.
And blackmail us with that. It's a fun series, and it only gets more ridiculous as the weeks go by. So we have like 3 episodes recorded yet for each of us.
I'm sure. That sounds crazy. I'm gonna have to check it out. And as
okay,
for myself,
what are you up to, Lambert?
Sorry, go on.
I said, what are you up to, Lambert?
Well, as for myself, I've been doing a bit of CK3, a bit of EU4, and the Star series has ended, and just mostly Twitch streaming, and then putting those videos on YouTube. Also started streaming Minecraft as well. because why not? And starting tonight in a few hours, I'm going to put an epilepsy warning on my channel because I'm going to stream Cyberpunk, and now I feel bad about it. Thanks, Loris. So
I don't know much about the games, to be honest. I just keep seeing it on Twitter that it causes seizures, and I just run with it because it's funny.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a warning. A warning should be good enough, right? Hopefully.
In my mind now, Cyberpunk is a game about having epileptic seizures, and I know nothing else about it.
Oh God, you're making me feel bad. But yeah, I'm gonna start streaming that as soon as I can tonight. But yeah, I also I haven't streamed it at all, but I'm considering it. I've been playing, or I played today with some friends of mine playing Among Us with the voice proximity mod, and it's insane. It's super cool. So I might do some of that on stream as well at some point.
That sounds pretty cool.
Aye.
Voice proximity, was it over Discord, is it? Or?
I don't think it uses Discord. No, it's like it's a separate program that you download. And I think all the voice goes through that instead.
Right. That sounds pretty cool. I'll actually maybe play that game in that case. Because I never liked the idea of Among Us because you keep changing servers on Discord or changing channels and stuff. It seems like a lot of work.
Why don't you just mute yourself?
Yeah, I heard something
it's a lot
that
of work.
if everyone who's not a ghost should mute, or not dead, should mute themselves when the dead people have to talk. Whatever.
Oh, we usually had it so that everyone is silent unless you go to the meeting hall in the center, for reports and such. But the dead will stay silent during those. But yeah, the proximity mod is really fun. So just try it. All right, I think our mascot is telling us that the podcast is over. So, we got any final words for the masses?
No, just take care. See you next week, I guess.
Yeah, see you next week.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Ciao.